All right, everybody. Welcome to episode 4 of the Disstrackted Podcast. I'm your host, Jag, aka Santos. We got Gugs. And today we're going to switch it up. We're not going to cover the typical social media. We're not going to do all that jazz. We're going to switch it up and deep dive into some music, some record labels, shit that we grew up on, what made us get into music, and what these record labels have done for music today. So for me, starting on music was a deep part of my life. Bad times, good times, all that shit, you know what I mean? Like, music just helps you get through everything. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, really, unfortunately, I spent a lot of time by myself, and I was always just listening to music, right?
Yeah.
So that was the thing. And I remember, me and you, we always bonded over music.
Out of all of our friends, I could go to a section of our group and talk about random shit, and then every time me and this guy would talk, it would literally just be like, yo, bro, you hear that fucking new this, you hear that new that, and that was sort of what kept us together this whole time. Even now, we're at a house party or a club, or I remember being at a club before, and you're off wherever you are, I'm off wherever I am. And all of a sudden we hear a song, we're like, yeah, this is the one. And just because maybe we talked about it before we got there or some shit like that, you know what I mean?
I remember, this is so distracted, but I remember one time in elementary school, you came up to me, I think it was the 6th grade, you're like, yo, I got this freestyle, and you're just the shit you're talking about in the freestyle, I was like, I know you're not doing this in real life.
That's well, fuck, man.
But that's how deep his love for music goes, because I mean, he's a producer, he's a DJ, he does it for a living, right?
Fucking slanging crack. Grade 6 Dunkaroos for Reese's. You know what I mean? What a fucking thug. Oh man.
I'm not gonna lie, I remember what you said, I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, please don't talk to me about it after, let me know, but please don't fucking say it.
It's weird the stuff you remember, right? Out of all the moments in life, I can't remember what I learned in the 6th grade, but I remember it's
this guy rapped
freestyle.
about where I got my start. Oh man, holy shit. Damn, I didn't even remember that at all.
I don't think you want to remember it.
Oh fuck. Well, getting to it, what would you say was the most influential record label or music group or whatever you want to call it in your eyes?
So, in no particular order, I just want to, I guess for me, I'm just trying to be hey, let's make sure, let's shed some light, let's just talk about some different stuff, not the typical stuff. But I feel people don't really talk enough about Cash Money.
Oh fuck.
Cash Money was man, that was such a wave, but it was at the time, you gotta remember, we're talking about I mean, they technically they started in the early 90s when they formed, but really, man, we were say 98, 99, right? Juvenile comes out,
we're actually listening to Back That Ass Up Juvenile in our headphones
and that's
right now.
randomized too, right?
Exactly.
But
so
when Juvenile drops and I think it was late 98, man, but just to paint a picture though, we're talking about 98. So in 98, Big Pun, still not a player, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about DMX was still at the peak of being DMX, right?
Yeah.
Rough Riders
huge.
Anthem.
Oh my god. Till this day, one of my favorites.
Right?
Even when I DJ, it's one of my fucking favorite songs to play.
Yeah. And Jay-Z would hit number 1. He's at that point, not the peak of his career, but he's at all-time highs for himself at the time.
Yeah.
Hard Knock Life was out, right?
Oh yeah.
So think about how raw music was, DMX, Big Pun, Jay-Z, and so then along comes Juvenile, Cash Money, right?
Whole new different wave of music.
So different, right? So we're talking about Back That Ass Up, and and mind you, on Back That Ass Up, you got a 16-year-old Lil Wayne on the track. 16.
That is crazy. 16.
Dude's still in high school.
I mean, I was grade 6 talking about selling crack, I'm guessing, or some shit like that. But I mean, this guy was 16 doing this shit. You know what I mean?
But and also just to say so Juvenile was so hot back then that even at that time, like I said, Jay-Z was number 1. What did Jay-Z do? Jay-Z hopped on the remix of Ha.
Yeah.
Juvenile song, right? So, and what's so crazy is that Birdman at the time, who was like the owner, whatever you call it, VP for Cash Money, he didn't even know who Jay-Z was.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And like, how do you not know who Jay-Z? Yeah. Hard Knock Life, like, I have that album on CD.
You have it?
Yeah, I got Hard Knock Life on CD, man. Like, to not know who Jay-Z is in that time, and you being as big as you are,
number one, that's
fucking crazy.
So that's what I'm saying. So like that's hilarious, because I seen it in an interview with Manny Fresh and Juvenile. They were saying like, they're like, we knew who Jay-Z was, and we went up to Birdman, and Birdman's like, who's Jay-Z, right? and they're pumped. They're like, this guy just hopped on the remix for Haas. So like that. So like Jay-Z saw the wave, right? Like Cash Money was like, he knew it was gonna be something. Like he at least knew Juvenile was gonna be something.
Yeah.
Who's the face of Cash Money at this point, because they're so big, right? So I mean, like, man, Juvenile goes like 5 times platinum. Like we're talking about like uber successful, right?
Hits.
Yeah, hits, right? So then like from there, Cash Money's riding a weight of momentum. You got BG drops Bling Bling.
Oh yeah.
People still use that term to this day, bling.
Every time I come around your city, bling. Oh,
right?
man.
And then we got, like, the years to come, Low End Hot Boys. I need a hot girl.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Right? Like, man, that's still, like, Project Chick. Like, there's...
many.
Yeah. People
actually, you know what? When you break it down, there's a lot of hits.
Right? Like, so we're talking about, like, they're huge, right? And then you got big timers, too.
Oh, yeah.
Mind you, like,
big timers right now.
Yeah, that's trippy too. So, but I guess what we try to do is we play music in the background, but whatever we're talking about, we try to kind of put it on shuffle, just so you know.
You need the vibe. You can't do it without the vibe,
right? So, anyways, so we got big timers, right? And like Manny Fresh, mind you, Manny Fresh is producing and rapping at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And like you gotta remember at this time. So like I said, like how raw rap was, like DMX, this, that, right? Like these guys come out here talking about cars, money, and it's not even just really cars. Like go, if you never seen the video for Get Your Roll On, like I know we talk a lot of nostalgia, so like you probably seen this, like if you're the demographic like us.
Yeah.
But man, like
everybody get your motherfucking roll on.
Like look at what they're doing with these cars. Like I didn't even know what a Bentley was at this time. And they're like keep the sticker on the Bentley to show the price, and like he just literally it looks like it's fresh off the lot. It has this like the
sales sign,
all the specs,
and
and he's doing donuts in a Lambo. Like at this time, I'd never seen anyone shit kick a car like that. Like that.
And that's the thing though, right?
Even today, I don't like if someone owns a Lambo, you don't really see them like,
going nuts.
You know,
they don't give a fuck. These guys never gave a fuck. They were trying to do some.
Yeah, it was
shit.
so different, right? So like you look at like what they were doing there, and then just look at music today, right? Like I said, like they're talking about cars, money, and all this stuff. Like what did music become? Like I won't say all of it, but majority, a lot of cars, money, jewelry.
They set the tone. They set the precedent for
what Cash
Money.
Been. Like their name is Cash Money, right?
Because like before that, like you used to see a lot of like the New York style, you know, like the gritty backgrounds and all the dark shit. Like for me, Cash Money sort of equates to that. I want to turn the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like I hear the music and I don't want to like just chill out or mellow out. Like you're not listening to big timers and all that shit to chill out.
Yeah.
You like even till this fucking day, like back that ass up or something comes on and like people lose their fucking shit.
Every girl is shaking their ass.
A lot of even the new crew, like they don't even know what the fuck it is.
Yeah,
but that beat
classic.
is just so nostalgic.
Yeah. And just last week we were talking about how
do it. Kanye West.
Yeah.
Like
sample back that ass up. Yeah. Why? Because like all these 20 years later it still goes.
Yeah, it hits hard. It's one of those like just I don't think there's gonna be a time when that beat goes out of style. Like I can throw it up in one of my sets right now and it'll make everybody go nuts.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, right? And Manny Fresh is producing, and Manny Fresh is part of Cash Money, right? So it's like they're doing in-house everything, right? So I mean, we're talking about influence, right? Like influential labels, like man, that song's still influential today, like you just said, right? And even from there, when you start talking about, like I said, Lil Wayne was 16 on that track.
Yeah,
it's not like Juvenile just carried that label. What happened? Lil Wayne came and took over. Right. And I mean, if we want to do a fucking episode, we can do a full episode. We could do a full series. We could do like the whole thing on Lil Wayne of like where he took music.
there was always that whole, which one's the best Carter shit. Like, I mean, I used to be a full-on Jay-Z guy, but after the run that Lil Wayne's had, I can't. I think Wayne's got it, man. Like,
yeah, and like you talk about when Lil Wayne really came into his own, like, yeah, he was rapping back then. Like he says in interviews, like he was still in high school, like literally.
Yeah.
He's like he would be going to school. Cash Money's going on tour, and he's just going to high school.
yeah,
right?
that's.
But then come into like 04-ish, like he starts dropping the Carter, right? Carter 2.
Yeah, he
starts growing his dreads, like.
That's when you knew what's up. Exactly.
Wayne. Yeah. Because at that time, like I mean, he went on that run where he proclaimed, if that's the right word, like he said, like, I'm best rapper alive. He made a song called Best Rapper Alive.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's what I mean. The Carter thing, like,
yeah,
Jay-Z used to call himself the best
and he
rapper,
was so hot. Like, you gotta remember, like Beyonce, Destiny's Child. He was on that song, right? The remix for Soldier.
Yeah.
Like Lil Wayne, like you gotta remember who he was at that time compared to who he became. Like he was that hot.
And the bars, though.
Yeah.
Like, if you break down the bars, it wasn't just some like nowadays you hear like the consideration of what a bar really is really different than what it was back then.
I remember like that. This is when I became obsessed with Lil Wayne. Like he had this one line. He's like in one of his freestyles. He's like, "I'm headless, no mind. I can say don't rhyme, and it's gonna rhyme."
Yeah,
like that's so ill, right?
And the crazy shit was like I saw some interviews of him saying like he doesn't write shit down, and there's other artists that would be in the studio with him and they'd be like, "Yo, man, this guy literally just walked in and just started rapping off the top." Like it just came to him, and like some of his biggest hits were like that. And then like to factor in the fact that like from him comes Drake, comes Nicki Minaj, Tyga, fucking I feel like those are probably the biggest three that came out of Young Money
for sure.
But like, and that's all because of Wayne. Like Drake will still give Wayne his flowers till this day.
That's what I'm saying. But like as you should, right?
Yeah.
Like you gotta remember like how big Wayne was and for how long. Like I said, he started when he was 16. Like he's still going. Like it's nuts, right? And like you go, like he went from like the phase where, I don't mean just to talk about Wayne, but like, you know, like the tats, the face tats, the dreads, but like just to talk about his influential, like look what happened to rap, right? Like everybody looks like Lil Wayne. Everyone's the son.
Young Thug.
Everybody got the dreads, the face tats. Like literally everyone looks like Wayne. It's crazy. And like, that just goes to show like his influence on rap.
And he was heavy into like the whole skateboard theme and all that shit. Like he made it cool.
He became a rock star, right?
Yeah.
Like that was his thing.
And he had some sick songs during that era too. You know?
Like it's so nuts, man. Like and it really doesn't end there either, because like you already mentioned, like he created his own label from there, Young Money. And this is still a subsidiary of Cash Money. Yeah. But like you already mentioned, Drake, Nicki, Tyga, like hits.
And then like even Bedrock and all that time, like he had like Gunna and all these other guys.
They
didn't make it anywhere, but still, during that time I was a fan.
How wild was that? Like the whole compilation album, like he introduced all these people. Like I'm not saying Drake wouldn't have been Drake, but I don't think. No, listen. You can. I think Drake wouldn't be Drake without Wayne. But it's nice to have literally the biggest rapper in the game at the time. Yeah. To like co-sign, put his arm around you, be like, "Yo, he's up next.
This is the one."
Right.
Yeah.
And what happened in the next 10 years? Who would you say in the 2010s was the greatest female MC? Nicki, right?
Yeah.
Who else? And who would you say is maybe still running it to this day? Drake.
I can say that. I can comfortably say Drake till this day is the modern day Lil Wayne. Like he's still not in the sense by bars, because I think Wayne's bars were unmatched.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You're right, but Drake.
Remember his verse on "We Taking Over."
Yeah.
Oh. That man.
Yeah.
That was before you could really like shut it down on the internet. Yeah. Feed me rappers or feed me beats.
Yeah.
That was
one of my favorite verses from Wayne is actually "I'm on One" with Khaled, Drake, and Rick Ross. That's like, that was a fucking crazy verse. I'm on one. Fun fact is, I'm on one is actually one of my favorite songs ever. Like probably my top 5. I can rap it. Grade 6. I can rap it word for word, verbatim, like with the ad libs and everything.
And just to like actually piggyback off that, like if we're talking Cash Money, Young Money, like DJ Khaled was signed.
Yeah. Oh
right?
shit. Yeah.
He was. And then like there's a lot of random shit. Like if you really think about like Jay Sean had a number 1 hit.
Like
on Cash Money.
Baby, are you down? Yeah. That's the only hit, but I mean, fucking
whatever, man.
For how many brown people around the world?
Yeah.
Like I remember when I saw that shit was like huge. Like
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Brown
like,
representation.
At one point, like Busta Rhymes was signed to Cash Money. Bow Wow. Like Cash Money goes right.
Even if Jay Sean quit music today, he could literally be like, I was the first and only brown artist.
And he had Wayne on the song too.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like Wayne ain't hopping on a bunch of shit. Jay-Z hopped on Beware of the Boys, Monday at the Bachka and all that shit. But like that was on its own thing. That was never really like a brown song. This was huge. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
and if we want to talk about like extended down to Rich Gang, like then you got Young Thug.
Yeah.
Rich Homie Quan.
That's what I mean. Like that, just the list goes.
People to this day they still say like, oh, they should get back together. They should, do that whole thing. So if you want to count that, because Birdman's there, right? Like
Birdman lucked out.
That's crazy.
So Birdman lucked out, but Birdman's brother, what's his name?
Oh, Slim, right?
Slim, yeah, he's the best one out of all of it because he stayed out of the media. He stayed out of all the bullshit. He just collected checks. So I think he killed it the most.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, right? Like think about like the influence, like the reach they've had from it started from Juvenile, like I said, like Lil Wayne from there, like what it branched out to like Drake, Nicki, and like it all came from like what, just this, and like back then we didn't even know, like we're like little kids, right? Like we didn't know what, like where New Orleans was or what kind of style they had.
Yeah. They fucking like I remember their album covers.
Yeah,
like even their album covers are crazy. Everybody's trying to do that shit. Like even now though, like that shit's back in style. But in all fairness, I can't sit here and say that they started that. They piggybacked off No Limit, because No Limit were the first ones to do that shit.
Yeah,
and like that's a whole nother like fucking beast on its own. No Limit Records, like Master P, Silk the Shocker, Snoop Dogg being on death row. Master P taking him away. But like Master P was an ultimate hustler. Like he made this shit big. And both being from New Orleans, like I think, like we were talking about it last week about the Super Bowl and Wayne being a feature or the halftime show. Like I think it'd be crazy if Master P was on that.
Yeah, like if you want to do the whole New Orleans thing, like you said, like so a lot of people say like no one was really making money in hip hop till Master P.
Yeah.
Because Master P took the whole independent, like he took it to another level. Like if you think about like as a businessman, like how crazy he was, he like 100% he was so influential because he whenever you drop an album, like they'll be advertising the next album in that album, right? Like you open up the album cover. Like
I still remember looking at those covers. Like you would actually look through that booklet.
You had to.
Yeah, like it was sick. Like to go through page by page and see like everything that came with it. I remember sitting in fucking computer class or whatever the fuck that shit used to be back in high school, and this is the Discman days, the CD, the Discman and the Sony. And then we would each take a headphone each, and I remember Buddy had a Ice Cream Man, Master P.
Oh yeah.
Like that shit was fucking crazy. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. But yeah, like that shit was dope. Like I remember like high school, just like hearing Ice Cream Man, fucking make him say,
yeah.
Like, that shit even till now is still catchy. Like that shit heavily influenced music.
Master P was like I'm telling you, like it's like a moment in hip hop. Like if you were around and you knew what like MTV Cribs was, like bro, everyone knows Master P has a gold ceiling.
Yeah. Man, I used to hear some shit like, yo, Master P's so rich, he's got a gold toilet and all that shit.
It's crazy, but like I said, like because like his hustle, like he was really like in California selling the CDs out of his trunk, like for real. And then you look at where he made it.
Like, and then if you think about it, like that's he started that hustle, and then like you got like Nipsey, like Marathon Clothing, you know what I mean?
Proud to pay everything he did, yeah.
But like everybody like took from that, and like he showed everybody how to make fucking real money. You know what I mean? Like real money. Even recently, I saw some shit that he went into some Walmarts because like Snoop Dogg's got some cereal, and he went there and he audited it because I guess he's got a share in it, and like his Snoop Dogg cereal was nowhere to be found. And he was straight up like, what the fuck, to Walmart, because like, you know, you guys are fucking with our money. Like, what makes you think you can get away with that shit? So it's like, even till this day, this guy's still got his hand in like making money off hip hop. It sucks though that like they didn't go as big as they should have been. Like I feel like they had a run, but maybe they oversaturated the market too quick.
Well,
because I remember like I read some statistics that like he had like over 20 albums drop like really close together, and I think maybe that made you sort of get sick, because Master P is one thing, Snoop Dogg is another thing, but not every artist from there was a superstar, right? But I respect him trying to put everybody on.
You know what's actually so dope, but like when you listen to Ghetto Dope by Master P, like he's literally telling you how to cook crack.
Yeah.
Like
fuck, man.
Like man. Imagine making money off making a record where you're teaching people how to cook crack.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. Like he literally goes step 1.
Yeah. Oh man. Do you remember, like on a side note, do you remember going to AMB Sound? Like a lot of you guys won't know what AMB Sound is, next to Stardust.
Yeah, I was just saying Surrey Central.
Yeah. I remember I used to go to AMB Sound and I'd walk up to that display where you'd put on headphones.
Yeah.
Right? And you'd like hit the button to see which album's out right now and you listen to it out. That was a crazy time in music, man. Like you could literally, like now, fucking pull up my phone.
Oh yeah,
Spotify pre-listen, YouTube reviews.
Yeah,
all
at midnight, shit. Whatever. Like it's there, right?
And there, like you'd have to walk into the store, put the fucking head. First, you'd have to get somebody to take you to the store. Like you were way too. You didn't have a license. You're like age 14, driven to fucking A&B Sound.
You're not gonna tell your parents what you're buying either.
Exactly. Well, fuck. I went to go get like, side note, I went to get DMX, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. I walk in, I think it was Zeller's in those days, and I walk in and I go to buy it, and the cashier's like, yo, you're way too young for this shit. And I remember I got my mom to come in. I think I was like 12 or some shit like that. I don't even remember anymore. And she's like, oh, what album is this? And I'm like, oh, this is the album. She's like, why is there so much blood on there? And it was literally like, it was like this album, like it was like covered, yeah. And I just told my mom, like, oh, it's paint. Like it's an artistic thing. Little does she know, like it's fucking straight up supposed to be blood and all that shit. But like that's just what it goes to show, like what you had to do to go get music back in the day.
Yeah,
and
that's
like,
crazy.
And you weren't wasting $10 on the shitty CD.
And the thing is, though, like on top of that, is you don't know what the CD sounds like.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you had to just waste that money.
Yeah,
hopefully
you're really buying it for like the maybe 1, 2, 3 tracks, like the singles that dropped, and there's like another 12 songs. You're like, I hope they're good.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's a flyer.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I think I just used to force myself and be like, you have to like this fucking song. You're not gonna get another CD for fucking 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is.
but with that said, I bought a lot of No Limit CDs.
Exactly. When you drop 20 in a month, you got a fan. You know
because their album covers were so dope. It was like,
man,
I don't know. At the time, it just seemed like, you look at it now, it's like, man, someone probably just got Photoshop.
And there's fucking big fonts, flashy colors.
And like you said,
two Roddies sitting on the front with like fucking somebody wearing gold teeth and chains and saying like, you know what I mean? No Limit.
Yeah. But man, it was dope because like they had like Mystical, Seamer, to Silk, like
so
it's great. You mentioned Snoop, but another label I was gonna say was Death Row.
Oh,
right? Like you can't, like when you're talking about influence in music,
you cannot have this convo without mentioning Death Row. Like there's no way.
Like the first, well, I mean, like I won't. One of the first things you think of when you think about Death Row, you think about Suge Knight, right? Mm-hmm. We're talking about a guy who strong-armed his way into a lot of things. Like if you don't know the history, look it up.
Yeah.
Like he's literally just
Jerry Heller and all that shit.
He's
NWA,
a bully. He's a bully. Like some of the wildest stories in hip hop history come from Death Row, right?
Yeah.
Like we're talking about a guy who was Compton, openly affiliated with Bloods, walking around in a red suit. Who wears a red suit? Like,
fucking Suge motherfucking Knight.
Yeah, like there's
You know
there's
what I
no mystery behind it. He didn't like he wasn't playing, right? Like,
Yeah.
That's so crazy that like I said, he's strong arming into it. Like he had the LAPD on his payroll.
Yeah. A lot of these guys, man, like,
How crazy is that? You have the police on your payroll. Like, look it up.
You know, and obviously, like, he was a big guy, you know what I mean? This fucking bouncer, all that bullshit. He had fear. And even as artists, they were with him for fear. But Death Row was huge. They had hits on hits on hits.
Yeah, and we're talking about, like, at this time, like Dr. Dre dropping The Chronic.
Oh.
Like, people credit.
I still think that's... I don't know if everybody else agrees with me, but I still, till this day, think that was one of the greatest albums ever.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it had nothing but a G thing came from there. But, like, even just, like, the G-Funk sound, like, that, like a lot of people credit Dre for that sound.
Yeah.
It's nuts. So you listen to it today, like, I don't know. To me, it still holds
timeless.
up. I love it, right?
Timeless.
When we talk about Doggy Style.
Oh,
Snoop.
One
Like,
of my favorite albums ever.
yeah, like that sound, you play it from front to back, beginning to end, like, it's crazy. And we're talking about, like, a lot of people, like, Snoop is, like, one of the most recognized rappers ever, right? We're talking about, like, where, like, he broke in, like, got his first big break on Death Row. He literally was fighting a murder case. And he has a song on his album called Murder Was the Case. Like, you can't make that shit up. Like, this is, like, some crazy wild times in hip hop going on, right?
It was nothing like now. Like, it was like these guys were like really doing the shit they were talking, rapping about.
It's real shit, right? And people consider that as a classic album. Obviously, The Chronic is a classic album.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like 100%. I think both were. And then we're not even just talking about them two. We're talking about the whole roster. Daz and Corrupt, right?
Yeah.
Dog Food.
Daz actually wrote a lot of Pac shit, or not produced a lot of Pac shit.
Yeah.
He never got the credit that he should have got.
Yeah, and probably not as much as he should have got. I agree. But like, man, like, these guys, they hold the spawn hip hop, and as a Dog Pound, we're talking about like, well, that's another moment in hip hop history when, like, we're talking about New York, and, like, Snoop's in that too. Like,
man.
they're like that was the whole Godzilla, like stomping on buildings.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm sure we'll touch on that another time. I don't want to really get into the whole East Coast West Coast beef, but, like, man, that really was, like, a big deal in hip hop at that time. Like, if you really knew what was happening. So I mean, like you can't really just talk Nate Dogg. People say he's one of the best hook bands ever. Like, I mean, I
that
think
voice
more
was
than a
crazy.
hook band.
That shit was like without auto-tune.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
He was
like,
talented as
like,
fuck.
who really does that even to this day, right? And I said all this without even mentioning Tupac.
That's what I mean, right? Like, we're not even.
So we're talking Death Row.
We're not even halfway through, technically, of, like, what Death Row was.
Yeah, and like, Tupac, mind you, he's already a successful platinum artist, right? Yeah. But, like, how crazy is this? Like, Suge Knight bails him out of prison, and the rest is history, right?
Yeah, but, like, never mind.
But, like,
it was a distracted moment, but never mind.
No, you may as well.
Well, it was going to be about the whole, like, you think Suge Knight really killed Pac, blah, blah, blah.
No, that's way too distracted.
Yeah, that's a full fucking distracted. Like, I think we could go on to another episode and have, like, a full episode about that distracted.
But that's crazy because, like I said, Tupac was already successful.
Yeah.
And, like, you bring him out, and, like, the music industry has never been the same.
Yeah.
Because then, All Eyes on Me, people say, I don't know if I can verify this, but people say it's, like, the first double rap album.
Yeah.
When it comes to rap,
I believe so.
I never really even knew that. But anyways, wow, Pac just came on in the headphones.
That's fucking crazy. Spotify shuffle, they're listening. They're always listening.
But like that album, like, I don't want to get into the whole Tupac thing, but I just mean, like, but we all know what came of that after. Like, Tupac was just, like, in your face, like, but that kind of personified all of Death Row, really, right? Like, you think about the whole, like, in your face attitude, the mob lifestyle, the, like, we don't give a fuck. Like, it was just, like, you had to be there, you had to live through it to really, like, know what it was at that time, because, like, there was nothing like it.
And even besides that, like, even just looking at it from my perspective as a producer, like, the beats were insane coming out of Death Row. Like, the lyrics, let's put them to the side, just taking the beats out, like, fucking insane. Like, even now, like, you know, Tyga, Ty Dolla, all these guys, they're still, like, sampling this shit because there's a bot, man. Like,
100%.
Like, people still fuck with it. That West Coast vibe was set from Death Row.
But that, like, you ask, like your favorite rapper's probably Tupac, right? Yeah. And, like, even like they're at least inspired by death row, because like say like I guarantee you, like you already know from the music, if you know, you watch interviews and everything, like J. Cole, Kendrick, YG, Nip, even Kanye was dropping Tupac, and you know, like everybody, like
it's crazy the influence death row had.
And because like, and on top of that, like you can't even really talk the story about hip hop without mentioning death row, because like I said, like the whole Tupac and all that shit is spawned the whole like East Coast West Coast beef. Like that's just like, it's so crazy. You can't talk about like hip hop without mentioning Biggie, Pac, all that stuff.
But like even with that East Coast beef, like I think another label that probably doesn't get much, it doesn't get their flowers, is Loud Music. Loud Music was huge, and pretty much like a lot of people still probably won't know what Loud Music is, and if you do, props to you. But like Loud Music had Wu-Tang, Big Pun. I thought they were mostly East, but then I found out they had like Lil Flip, 3-6, Project Pat.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like Exhibit, all that shit. Like that's huge. You know, Big Pun was huge. Wu-Tang Clan, even till this day, is known to be one of the best and biggest rap groups ever in hip hop history.
Still has a cult following. Like
they have a fucking residency in Vegas. Yeah, they just started.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, like it's
all of them.
All of them. A fucking gang of them.
I always thought that was the wildest shit. Like I was like, oh, Wu-Tang. Like, who's this? Wait, how many people are in Wu-Tang?
Yeah,
like, there's so many people.
And that's the thing though. Like because of that, a lot of them, like the way it was set up, Loud Music was one of the only ones that allowed all of them to get their own solo careers.
Oh, okay.
Which is crazy. Like you never used to hear about that. You'd always have like one or two out of the group that make it really big, and the rest just sort of fall back. They were the only ones to have like a huge fucking, like everybody got a record. The Oprah style, like you get a record deal, you get a record deal. You know what I mean? Like one of those kind of situations. But like, we can dwell the fuck out of it. But like, you know, ODB was fucking huge, man. So if you guys haven't watched the Wu-Tang show, I highly recommend it. Like it. Before that, I was always a fan of Wu-Tang, but not in depth. After that, like, fucking wow, I support the movement, you know what I mean? Wu-Tang ain't nothing to fuck with.
Yeah.
Talking about ODB, though, because I remember I said ODB. Remember how he made a song with Mariah Carey?
Yeah, Fantasy.
Yeah, that shit was fucking crazy.
That was the wildest. Like, if you've seen ODB, he's just like his braids, he's just like, his whole thing was
didn't give
like,
a fuck.
Yeah, he's so all over the place, and like Mariah Carey is like the most like the finest, most well put together female you'll ever see.
Like fucking Nick Cannon banged fucking Mariah Carey.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean? Set for life.
I remember having this conversation with someone younger. I'm like, Mariah Carey was so.
She was,
and he's like, what? No, she was. I'm like, you didn't live through it. Like, you gotta.
Yeah.
Like, she was like.
Yo, she's making crazy bank off that All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Every Christmas.
No, like, they said last Christmas was the biggest ever for royalties. Like that, like she's growing every year. Like it's fucking disgusting how much money she's making. Yeah, she could retire today and like make millions. Just can continue making millions and millions and millions off of that one song.
That's
Nick Cannon Set for Life. Wilding out, man. He's wilding out with like fucking 13 kids now too. But like that's a whole nother fucking situation. But then talking about Mariah Carey, So Def.
So Def was
So Def. Yeah. You know
that bounce, like what they had to the
Jermaine Dupri.
Yeah, JD.
Fucking ludicrous.
Fire.
You know, one of the first acts was Escape.
Yeah.
You know. Debrat, Functified.
Oh, Functified is one of my man. That's so dope. Like, just put that on repeat. Just have it played in the back. Like,
you know, we got a buddy like KD. You know, this guy like he's hooked on Debrat. Like this guy loves Functified and all that shit. He loves Jermaine Dupri. But like, it makes me think too because
KD's hooked on a lot of shit.
Distracted. But back to the topic: Crisscross, Jagged Edge, Lil Bow Wow, Jaquan. Tipsy, yeah. like JD had a fucking reach. Them franchise boys.
Like think about the trend there though, right? Like we're talking about Crisscross, Bow Wow, Jaquan. He found them like young, like as in like like what I'm trying to say is
no, I get what you're saying.
Like he kind of like I don't know if I can say like he pioneered, but he was big on the like, yo, find the artists when they're young, like, because then they speak to the younger generation. Like, that was crazy. Yo, but what would you gonna say? I got a fake ID though.
Yeah, fuck. That song was a banger too, man.
Banger, still to this day, it still goes.
To this day, people still fuck with that.
And like, Crisscross, when Nipsey sampled that too.
Yeah, a lot of people have sampled it. I've heard a lot of Brown songs sample fucking Crisscross's
Really?
Jump. Yeah, man.
Chump,
It's a crazy
Chump.
fucking yeah.
That was so fire. I remember like JD was telling the story. He's like, he's walking through the mall. He just sees these two kids. They're twins, right? And he's like, they weren't even rappers or nothing. He's like, oh, the girls are all over these guys. But this guy had the foresight to be like, yo, like these kids are like, they got charisma.
Though.
They're stars, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I will make you rapper. Like I'll do the rest. Because he's that type of genius too, right?
Well,
like,
with this day and age, writers and all that shit, all you gotta have is a catchy beat, fucking good writing.
And how old was Bow Wow? Actually, what's crazy is Bow Wow used to be on death row. And
what?
Yeah, Bow Wow was on death row.
Holy shit!
He did
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Bro, Bow Wow was on death row. Look it up. Like when he was like young, his mom was always trying to get him in showbiz. Like when he was like 6 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, and then what happened is he ended up.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Like if Bow Wow just like continue with death row and shit. Holy shit! I think the right move was Jermaine Dupri though. So death. Holy shit! But like even if you think back, like how much shit Jermaine Dupri's made. Like this guy's done like My Boo, like talking about Usher even.
Yeah.
You know, like last week's Super Bowl, like of course he was dressed like a fucking, that's a whole nother thing, but like he's still responsible for like My Boo, You Got It Bad, like You Make Me Wanna, which is one of my
all the
favorite
Usher
fucking
shit,
songs.
yeah, like you can go on and on and on. Jagged Edge was So Deaf.
Yeah,
right? Let's Get Married.
So we were talking about Death Row. Daz Dillinger was signed to So Deaf after. It still is, I think, till this day. TLC.
Yeah.
3LW. Jagged Edge, I think you already mentioned. It's crazy, but like even his music, I feel like influenced like Soulja Boy. That whole like, you know, like that era of music all sort of went from JD. Like I feel like The Dream was a sick producer too, and I think The Dream like was heavily influenced from like JD's music. Nelly,
and it's crazy because like JD was a part of Welcome to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Right? And we're talking about a period in time where like,
to Atlanta, where the players play.
Yeah, like two kids from Canada. Like we didn't even know. Like, do you even know now where Atlanta is? Right?
Yeah.
Like if I give you a map and I said point it out. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. So like, but like it was so crazy because they're like Welcome to Atlanta. Like that was a banger.
Ludicrous.
Right? Yeah, Luda. Man, I love Luda.
Man, I remember like we were sitting there. Like side story, we were sitting there fucking on a webcam. The bunch of us like wearing backwards jerseys because like these guys were wearing them and it was so cool to wear like
I remember I was wearing my white Iverson jersey.
Yeah,
my brother
Iverson.
bought it for me on
like
Christmas.
we're like rapping. We made our own little music video to that shit, man. That shit was fucking wicked. Like it really makes you think.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like this is before like Atlanta really became a powerhouse of hip hop. Like now everything's in Atlanta. Like literally everyone comes out of Atlanta, right? Yeah. We're talking about like
quality
Migos,
control,
QC, like
QC,
everything, man.
Yeah.
Like Future, everybody, everything is like Atlanta. Everyone knows like Atlanta has just become like the Mecca of hip hop.
Atlanta has solidified their mark.
You can't
on
argue
like you can't take it away.
Yeah. Everyone comes out of Atlanta, but what I'm saying is like back then when you hear Welcome to Atlanta for the first time, it's like back then it was only like your West Coast or your East Coast.
Yeah.
Like your New York or your California.
And then you had the Cash Money,
like
New
Orleans,
all
Atlanta,
that shit.
right?
Yeah, exactly. No Limit, and fucking then these guys came through and they fucked it up. Wow.
Yeah.
Nelly, St. Louis, like all these guys. Like,
that's wild. Yeah. Nelly sound, you could.
Jermaine Dupri made a lot of Nelly shit too, I think. Wow. But holy shit. That's crazy.
That's a lot of stuff. Like we can go into I did two labels, you did two labels. Like we can go on and on. We didn't even mention. Like,
I think we touched like maybe 10% of the shit. That,
not even, man.
Yeah, like
we didn't even mention good music.
Good music.
You talk about the reach Kanye had.
Aftermath, G-Unit, Bad Boy, fucking. That's Bad just like off the top of my head. Like I'm not even like going in OVO, Ruthless, fucking
there's some
XO. Like there's fucking Ice Cube.
We talk about failed record labels,
Marathon. Like all these guys, even right here. Like this was like heavy shit. Like they got their own stories.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I think we should
probably. You can go on and on.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like part 2, 3.
So I think we've I think we've covered a good amount for today.
Yeah.
And I think I fucking enjoyed this. And I think we should have a volume 2, volume 3, whatever, you know.
For sure.
I think we should. And I think on that note, we should bow. We should finish our drinks. And cheers, man. Move on and subscribe, like, comment. Let us know what record labels we should cover.
Yeah, if there's anything we didn't cover, anything you want to hear covered, anything you want to hear us talk more about.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, because I enjoy this. I love it. Like,
exactly.
Diving into history and stuff, like it's awesome.
It really,
man.
you know what it is? It's
it really puts you back. Yeah,
it's like, you know, like it
puts you back
to your
in that
core
time.
memories.
Yeah,
your core, like Walkmans and fucking.
Like I touched on when I was saying like 98, like DMX is huge. You can talk about Rough Riders.
That's a whole beast on its own, right? That's a whole nother Mace.
Yeah,
fucking
like there's so much.
LL Cool J, fucking all these, like there's so much we can do, which we will do. We will fucking cover it.
Yeah,
because
another topic to talk about.
Yeah,
is
how much wood can a woodchuck chuck?
Say that 3 times fast. Topic to talk about.
Topic to talk about. Topic to talk about. Topic to talk about. I felt like I was singing a Migos song or some shit. Topic to talk about. Topic to talk about. Oh man.
But yeah, no, I was gonna say like another topic to talk about. Actually, my brother mentioned this to me. He's like, we should talk about what music you came up on. I would love to talk about that, because for us it's buying CDs.
Yeah.
Back in the day, like we talked about that. Like you had to go there buy it, like kind of blindly in a way. So it's like, man, like what really got you into it? What you know what I mean? Like that.
Like,
I'd love to talk about that.
We're gonna wrap it up, but the next volume of this, I will tell you what my first CD was and the story behind it. And I swear to God, you will not expect what it was.
I'm dying.
You will not expect it. You will not. Fuck. You know what? Subscribe, like, comment, all that shit. And we're going to end it on that note. Leave it in the comments, all that. Till next time, I'm going to ask... Actually, on the side note, I'm going to ask Guggy what the fuck I rapped about in grade 6. But on that note, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Boom.